The first time that I went through this manga, delving deep into the premise of the story and unraveling in the themes that are within, I generally felt a little bit uncomfortable reading through it, not gonna lie, but in a good way, because you are looking at the issues that different traumas and insanity of every single character that is in this manga, and eventually looking at the twisted ways that they use to solve this kind of trauma. This manga is called Boys Abyss or Shonen no Abyss. And before we start off with this discussion, I will have to give you guys a warning because this manga is bringing out a lot of dark, realistic, and authentic topics to the readers, which might eventually bring up other people's experience regarding those topics itself. This is unavoidable, however, due to the fact that it uses these set topics to be able to push the narrative forward that is surrounding every character with their own separate traumas. This is what made it so popular, especially on certain manga reading sites such as Cat Manga, where it's being listed as the third most popular series that is. The way that I found out about this manga in particular is through browsing the new mangas that are releasing this year, and I managed to come across Boys Abyss, which eventually piqued my interest in the premise of the entirety of the story. So I looked it up and started reading it from chapter 1. So right off the bat, in the very first chapter of the manga, it is like any normal slice of life manga that you read on the web, where you have the main character named Reiji Kurosei along with one of his friends, Chako, going to school as any normal student would, but you then find out about the fact that they want to leave the city that they are in, and the reasoning behind this is either for ambition's sake or to escape the cruel fate that awaits them that will eventually cause them to develop a sense of giving up on life. Taking these reasons along as you progress throughout the chapter, you can see the concept of giving up on life and leaving everything behind just for receiving the freedom that the character desires. This kind of mindset is very prevalent in Reiji's case because at the beginning, he was born in a broken family where his mother is unemployed, which results in her taking care of Reiji's grandmother, whilst his abusive older brother is always scolding each of the family members whilst being a constant shut-in. This eventually makes it that the entire family is depending on Reiji to be able to live their lives, and through this, the story manages to build a huge sense of responsibility within Reiji, where it slowly shifts into a burden that he has to carry. There are other factors that comes into play when he is being binded to the place that he is being born in or the city that he's living in, and these factors are not wanting to leave any of his childhood friends behind, wanting to take care of his family, and chasing his dream for the future. Not only that, in a few chapters, it also gives the reader an insight on the relationship that he has with a character called Gin, where he is forcing him to work under him, which makes it so that he never leaves the city that they are currently in. It is because of this that Reiji is not able to leave and not seek for his own freedom, but eventually he meets up with a person who is an idol from a group that he really admired alongside with Chako, and this person is Nagi Aoi, where she quits the entertainment industry due to the fact that she had no idea on the paths that she can take in the future to live her life, thus developing a deep depression, leading her down to a path of committing suicide and not live in this wretched world anymore. Through just understanding Nagi's backstory and the events that she's gone through to get to where she was at now, living in this city that is filled with nothing and seemingly no signs of any development, it gives Reiji an insight that there is nothing to gain living in this place anymore, where living here would eventually cause him more mental damage that cannot be healed easily. So taking into consideration on the situation that both Nagi and Reiji are in, you get a set of characters that is constantly looking for opportunities to die together, and ending everything right then and there, but remember the different factors that is heavily clinging on Reiji and constantly dragging him farther away from ending his life just to release himself from the massive burden that he's carrying for his family. Now, I want you guys to shift away from the entire concept of suicide or seeking freedom just by killing yourself. But I want you to look at the brighter side. So, with this, throughout the day-to-day basis of our main character, Reiji manages to find some sort of self-worth within different characters that are in this story, whether it is for Chako or even from Gin, each with different kind of portrayal or method of showing Reiji's self-worth. And it slowly starts to reveal itself as the story progresses, where they start to show how important Reiji is to their life and how he has influenced them to the person that they are now. Just by reading this manga, you can discover how the author of this manga weaponizes the concept of the different traumas that character went through and make it appealing or even enjoyable to understand them, just overall giving the manga a chance to heavily relate to the majority of the readers. There are instances in life where people do not understand the things that they are doing on and what to work towards for a brighter future, leading them to think about giving up on a thought on their dreams. But Boys Abyss takes this concept and escalates it to a whole nother level, where the author implements the concept of self-harm and mental trauma into it, which is the reason what makes this manga so popular for the general public. So, like I said in the beginning of the video, when I started reading this manga for the first time, I felt really uncomfortable. But I start to find myself enjoying the trauma that these set characters are going through, and the way that they were managed to either pull themselves out of the situation that they are in or dive into the insanity that they are experiencing through those traumas. This is what makes Boys Abyss interesting and uncomfortable to read at the same time, and you get a lot of information regarding the baseline of each and every single character and their backstory, all of their mental trauma and past experiences that has mentally scarred them till this day. So that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, leave a like and subscribe. But other than that, thank you all for sticking to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys the next time. Goodbye.